to Miss Nell Speaks. Today we're going to learn linear equation and how to solve them. Basically, you need to recognize what is a linear equation. A linear equation will be an equation that contains only one variable. And sometimes this variable is also known as an unknown, and they are represented by an alphabet. So we look at an example. Say we want to solve for this equation that contains the alphabet X. Now the first rule is to keep all your variables on one side. So that is your rule number 1. Keep all your variables one side. I would like to keep my variables on the left hand side preferably. So I'm going to move all the variables to the left side. And rule number 2 is to keep the numbers separated from the variables on the other side. Say you already have your variables on the left side, you definitely need to keep your numbers on the right side, or vice versa. And therefore I'm bringing my 4 over. So 5x minus 4x gives you 1x, and the answer is 4. Let's try another equation where we have 5x minus 4 equals to x plus 8. Again, rule number 1, keep all your x on one side, all your variables on one side, and numbers on the other side. In this case, my numbers will be on the right side. 5x minus x equals to 4x, 8 plus 4 equals to 12. And each time you bring over a number across the equal sign, you will reverse the original operation. Let's look at number 3. 15 equals to 23 plus 4y. Now, I've mentioned that we want to keep all our variables on one side and numbers on the other side. But it is not necessary to keep your variables on the left side and your numbers always on the right side. So you can still work with variables on the right side as long as they are separated from the number. And therefore, for this question, I'm going to keep my 4y on the right side and then bring the number to the other side. So 15 minus 23 will give you negative 8 equals to 4y. And at this point of time, if you feel that it is difficult to see, you can always rewrite your equation and ask yourself what is the reverse operation of a multiplication. Sorry, in this case, it is divide. Let's look at one more example where you have 4x over 5 equals to 3. Very straightforward. We will just bring the 5 up because originally it's division, so it's going to become a multiplication. And therefore, the answer is 15 over 4. Okay, now let's look at one more example which is similar to the example that we did earlier. And in this case, we have 1 over 3p equals to 9. Now, very careful. When students look at this, they will forget that the 3p is actually the denominator. So always remember, when we deal with fractions, we have numerator and denominator, and do not overlook them. I suggest the easiest way is to look at 9 as a fraction, or because you only have 9 on the other side, it's even easier to just bring the 3p up and multiply with the 9. That gives you 27p. Now, this is something that is very familiar, right? You have done this before. And again, if you can't see this, just rewrite it by reversing the sides. And easily you can find the value of p. Okay, before we end the lesson, let's do one more example. And this time we're gonna upgrade this question a little bit. Still, we're going to deal with numbers and variables on one side. Remember, that's always rule number one. Therefore, I'm going to move my -2 over to the other side. And when you move -2 over to the other side, you have +2. So 3 plus 2 is a 5, and last but not least, move your 5 over, you get multiplication, and therefore the answer is 25. And there you go, some examples on very simple linear equations. Subscribe to my channel and get notified of new videos, because in the next video I'm going to show you other more complicated examples on linear equations. See you again, take care, and bye bye.